Hello and welcome to part 3 of the Introduction to Scratch tutorial series. In this video, I'm going to be adding an up and down movement, so completing the 4 directional movement part of the code, and I'll also be doing a little bit of level design. So we're going to lay out a basic level, and then in the next video, I will show you how to add boundary sensing into the code for your directional movement. So if you remember where we were last time, we'd just gotten left and right directional movement going using the right arrow input and a point and direction block and a change x by 10 block. Remembering that change is relative, so it looks at what your current x value is and changes that x value by the number defined in this little input oval there. So up and down movement is essentially the exact same thing. But it is on the y-axis as opposed to the x-axis, which is the horizontal. So we're going to go and just move right along because this is just pretty much a repeat of what we've been doing before. I'm not going to spend as much time explaining the basics of it, but we're going to create 2 more blocks using if-then statements. Once again, if-then statements are a really core part of coding and important for when you need to basically create a condition that can be executed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do the exact same thing. I'm going to check for a key input using the sensing block and the key pressed block within that category. I'm going to go with up arrow to start with, and drag and drop it in here, and then I'm just going to keep kind of things repeating, grab it again and put it in my next if statement, but change it to a down arrow. So now I have my up and down arrows. I've got my left and right in here. Now the code's going to be a little bit simpler for the up and down because I'm not going to do any directional movement with this. We're just going to basically leave it on the last direction pointed when moving up and down, which makes the most sense. We only have a character that can face 2 directions as far as the costumes go. But if you do have a character that you actually want to program in up, down, left, right costume for, you could definitely start doing some extra modifications to this. So I'm going to go to our motion blocks right here, and instead of changing x by 10, we're going to change our y value by 10. Remember, because that is our vertical axis. Drop that in on both of these, remembering that moving upwards adds y value, moving downwards is a negative y value, so change y by 10 moves you up, and change y by negative 10 moves you down. And we're just going to literally drag and drop these beneath. Remember, look at this, stacked, right? These if statements are all stacked on top of each other. And what's happening here as far as code goes is when it's running, what is happening is we're forever checking, and it's just running through these if statements to see if any of them are true. So it'll start at the top, go, is the right arrow pressed? No. Then is the left arrow pressed? No. Then is the up arrow pressed? No. Then is the down arrow pressed? And it just cycles through, cycles through, cycles through. And as soon as one of these gates opens by being true, it then starts running the code inside it. So basically go right arrow pressed, then point in direction 90, change by 10, and then it does a full loop again, is the right arrow pressed, but it's happening so fast it appears as if it's a continuous input. So let's give this a little bit of a test to make sure everything is working correctly. Let's press the go flag, left and right, up, down. Notice that it just basically holds the last direction you used when you were moving it. It does actually respond to dual inputs, as in like left and up. Right, so it can move on the horizontal, or it's not on the horizontal, that diagonal, by basically having 2 of these being true at the same time and using them both. So that is useful to know. So you can actually do kind of horizontal movement. That is the very, very basics of directional movement, and it allows you to move your sprite around using these inputs and changing your x and y values. So we've got a sprite, he moves, he points in the direction that he is moving, and he moves within the space. Now it's time to start adding a few more sprites. In this case, how we do this is we're going to create a level sprite, and we're going to actually draw it. So what I will do is I'm going to actually stop this video here, and we'll do the level sprite in the next video, and then we'll work on boundary sensing and level design in the next video.